Papers time now with Emily, who's here with the press review. Of course, she's starting off with how American press are reacting to the government shutdown there, Emily.
Well, let's start with a quick look at a few of the front pages this morning, starting with the New York Post, the right-wing tabloid, headlining with shutdown there on the front page of their website. Very quickly blaming the Democrats. Dems failed to support stopgap funding bill. Now, the Washington Post, meanwhile, this is the what their website looks like this morning. Shutdown begins amid blame and acrimony. It discusses also Trump's threat to fire federal employees. And finally, for the front pages, this is what the New York Times looks like this morning. They have this bit here, messy standoff on spending bill before deadline. It goes into detail about how Republicans and Democrats blocked each other's proposals in the few hours following up to the deadline.
What have you found then beyond the front pages?
Well, obviously a lot of analysis and opinion in the press, and a lot of them focusing on that blame game that we saw a little bit in those front pages, starting with PBS here. They have a poll looking at who the Americans think are to blame. Let's have a look at what they found. This was a poll from yesterday. You can see there that 38% of Americans think that Republicans are more likely to blame. 31% think that both parties are, and 27% think that the Democrats are responsible. Meanwhile, a lot of articles are analysing this public relations battle. Let's go to the New York Times first. They have this article here today looking at the political stunts and attention-grabbing props used in the Capitol. The article says the high stakes mean that both parties are resorting to flashier techniques to get their messages across. Blame game strategies include fight over charts and posters, large screen TVs playing archival footage, and a lot of shouting. But NPR brings us this article here with slightly more worrying news. It says that the Trump administration is using taxpayer dollars to blame the Democrats. Now, if you try and access a handful of US federal agencies this morning, a pop-up message like the one you can see here will flash up on your screen, and it reads, quote, "The radical left are going to shut down the government and inflict massive pain on the American people." Now, the article here says that this could be a violation of federal ethics laws. Now, the Washington Post also covering this story. They have this opinion piece here today, which says that Washington's obsession with claiming victory during this shutdown is pointless. It says that no party will come out with their image enhanced, and that people won't remember all of this when it comes to the next elections. It goes on to call out the near-obsessive belief that, quote, "winning a day's news cycle is how you accumulate political capital in American politics." Now, finally, The Atlantic has a slightly different take on this story here, looking at Trump's grand plan to finish the job that the Department of Government Efficiency started. The article says that during Trump's first 8 months of his second term, he has tried to, quote, "hollow out federal workforce." The article says that this could be his most audacious move yet, using a government shutdown to conduct mass firings.
And from one shutdown to another, this is the one we were talking about just before the press review. Afghanistan cast into darkness after the Taliban shut down the internet. What are the papers saying?
Well, let's go back to the Washington Post first. They're saying that this shutdown is paralysing the country. Flights have been grounded, businesses forced to close down, emergency services limited. This article says that the shutdown could help the Taliban stay in power, but it could also backfire, deepening public frustration with the regime. And now there's also widespread concern about the fate of women and girls. The BBC covering this in this article here today. It says that the internet was the last lifeline for many women in Afghanistan who relied on the internet to compensate for the Taliban's restrictions on female education, work and access to public spaces. The article says that forcing women offline is another way to isolate them even further. Finally, on this story, The Guardian has a more personal take on it. They have this opinion piece by an Afghan journalist living in Australia. He says that internet was the last bridge connecting him to his family. He says that the shutdown has left millions of Afghans both inside and outside of the country isolated, voiceless and trapped. And he argues that this is really a calculated move to consolidate power and silence dissent.
Now, AI's latest development. Apparently it's spooking Hollywood somewhat. What have you got for us?
Well, this is sci-fi territory. Now, let me introduce you, Stuart, here to Tilly Norwood, this young lady here. She's an up-and-coming actress. She is young, ambitious, and entirely AI generated. It's the end of the film industry as we know it, according to Vanity Fair. Tilly has an Instagram account with thousands of followers, which is where she announced her latest role in AI Commissioner, an AI-generated comedy sketch video which has gone viral online. Now, her creators have even said that talent agencies have reached out to represent her, something which obviously has angered many in Hollywood, including actors' unions. The Guardian, though, has this opinion piece here asking how scared should we be of the viral AI actor. It says that although it's incredibly worrying, so far it's just quote, pointlessly creepy and relentlessly unfunny. The article says that ultimately the power is with the viewers and that AI will only survive if humans decide they are happy to pay money to be, quote, unsettled by a pretty girl who can't decide how many teeth she is supposed to have.
Yeah, hopefully she doesn't do press reviews. Finally, Emily, not all technology is bad.
Not all technology is bad. Some technology can actually get you out of fines. This is news in AP here. Police in California were quite confused when they stopped a car for making an illegal U-turn, only to realise there was no one behind the wheel. The police officers said they could not write a ticket because there was no box for robot. I'm suggesting they should also let the public know that jumping into the passenger seat won't get them free out of tickets either.
Perhaps they'll start putting robots as an option. You never know. Thanks a lot, Emily, with the press review for us on France 24.